I don't know if you will claim to prove it, or I don't know if I could prove it, but these people have the notion that once they die, a follower of Jesus and a believer of his God, then they're going to have an eternity in heaven. That's their benefit they were going for. Just like in current modern times, the media inflates the story that these suicide bombers and such are killing themselves because they're going to be receiving a quantitative benefit of, I forgot the number of virgins when they die for their cause. Huh? 72. Yes. And so I'm thinking the example you gave in Catch Me If You Can, obviously this guy's benefits were purely like quantitative, monetary, physical. He did all these heists for money. He didn't do it for this ethereal amorphous benefit that these people were promised. And necessarily by dying, it links them to this benefit, as in they can't get this benefit when they're alive. So then what's the distinction between the whole benefit story?
You bet.
Okay.
Here's the distinction. As Jewish men, they understood, if I put my faith in Jesus Christ, I will go to hell. That's their background. That's their culture. That's where they've gone to synagogue and been taught. Therefore, your scenario is, they understand as Jewish men, we believe in Yeshua as Messiah, we're probably going to go to hell, is what we've been taught by the rabbis. Now, I'm going to construct a lie. And the lie is that Jesus rose from the dead. I know it's a lie. I know it's false. But I'm going to believe this lie and promulgate this lie. And where's it going to lead me? To heaven? But if Jesus isn't risen from the dead, I know he's false. And what I got to deal with now is the fact that my whole cultural experience, my whole upbringing has taught me, if I believe in this false Messiah and commit blasphemy and worship him as God, I'm going to hell. That's what they're facing.
I wasn't talking about just Jewish people, though.
Well, they're the guys who wrote about it.
Oh, were they predominantly Jewish?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was the Jewish people who saw Christ, and there were a few exceptions to that, but the overwhelming majority of them were Jewish people.
Okay. But once again, that's necessarily what they believed in the end. They weren't really sure. It was promised to them, you see? And even if they did see it or not, I think at a certain point, there's going to be a problem of, first, another thing you said last with the discussion, you said there's historical evidence and scientific evidence and different sectors of knowledge. But I think even within this historical evidence section, I think there are varying degrees of accuracy and value we place on certain historical evidences.
Okay.
I mean, for example, if there was a piece of paper found in, somewhere post-Civil War that said the South won, and then right now all of our textbooks say the North actually won, there are varying degrees of historical accuracy.
Good.
You see?
Right.
And so when you were claiming that whole bunch, and so now let's go back to our story of how these people wrote about these things because of the perceived benefit they would receive, and how then they would go to hell if it was not true or if it was true.
Yeah.
Then there are varying degrees of historical accuracy that would be the first buffer between that story actually translating from what happened then to us now. And even then, if we look at that story in it as a whole, you're going to see the problem of, even if the story wasn't true for them, if some person were to prove it to them, the first block for me would be that then I would less likely believe Jesus actually died in the beginning. He probably never died. That's more highly plausible. Because as historical accuracy dictates, back then, medicine and medical technology were far behind what we were now. Thus, the diagnoses of Jesus' body, which proclaimed he was probably dead, could have been much more historically off than if we were to do that now. So that would be my first, place of, really did he die? Even if these men were Jewish, and predominantly they were Jewish, and then by claiming the story that he did rise and then believe in him and then go to hell, it didn't matter to them anymore because now they are under the Christian religion. Because if they believe in him now, then no longer are they under the Jewish religion and the Judaism faith, which says that they will go to hell for believing in him. They are now under the Christian religion, which is a separate one that is a new entity that they created. Thus, they have nothing to worry about.
But they know it's false.
Well, that's under the pretense that he actually did resurrect.
No.
But either way.
Where we started was, you're convinced that they lied. They lied about the resurrection. So in other words, what you're saying is, they lied about the resurrection of Christ, which means they knew he did not rise from the dead, but they lied about it. And they based their life on it. Okay, let me tell you why I can't go there. If I were to offer you $5,000 right now, if you could believe that there's a beautiful, wonderful pink elephant right on your right, do you think you could believe that, honestly, sincerely?
$5,000?
For $5,000.
I could do much more. Currently.
Okay, I disagree.
But, I mean, I'm sorry.
I disagree.
Sorry for being very,
No.
But, no, I wouldn't. I know what you're trying to say. Yes.
Why can't, not just wouldn't, but why can't you? Why for $5,000 can't you believe that there's a pink elephant on your right hand?
Because there isn't.
Thank you. Because your mind is so committed to understanding what is true that even for $5,000 in cash right now, you cannot sincerely believe that there's a pink elephant on your right hand. Isn't that amazing? That we are hardwired that way, that we cannot, even for 5 or 10 grand, play a game in our head and really believe that that thing's there when it's not. Which is why I'm convinced that the scenario that you just pictured is impossible. It is impossible for these Jewish men to lie and to say, we saw Christ risen from the dead, knowing full well that he was still dead. And not only do we say we really believe it, we believe it so intensely that we're willing to die for it. My experience of human beings is that don't happen.
Okay.
You can't get people to do that.
Well, I mean, but the distinction I was pointing out happens prior to that story. Because once again, or is it after? Once again, it doesn't necessarily matter to them if they die martyrs or not. Because either way, they're going to receive this benefit. And even in our little scenario, $5,000 is once again a physical benefit, as opposed to what these people believed were like an ethereal benefit.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. They're lying through their teeth because all that ethereal benefit is based on a resurrection of Christ. And you are positing that they lied, which is a possibility that they lied. But if they lied, then you're positing that they're willing to die to cover up what they know to be a lie. And you're positing that they know it's false, but they've tricked themselves into believing it's true. Sir, my experience is you can't do that. I mean, people don't do that.
Well, I mean...
Maybe that's not true. I have met some psychologically sick people who do that. But that's an example of their psychological disease. It's a symptom of their psychological disease. If you're balanced psychologically, you can't force yourself to believe something that you know is a lie. It just doesn't work. That's why I don't care if I offered you $1 million. You could not force yourself to really believe that there's a pink elephant on your head, because you know with your head, that's false, man. There is no pink elephant on my right hand. And that is why God values our faith. God values our faith because that is a statement of respect to God.